know when you walk into a spa, it's gonna be ding, and it's just like I know my nervous system is like, yes, vacation, versus walking into a storage unit and you're just like, why do I have so much stuff? Like your brain instantly goes, why? Why am I doing this to me? Today, we're talking about something that might seem simple, but has profound effects on your mental health, your physical space. Whether you're creative drowning in projects, a parent trying to navigate toy explosions, someone new to therapy, wondering why you feel anxious at home or sharing space with others, this episode is about the powerful connection between our environment and our emotional well being. We'll explore how clutter affects our minds, dive into some game changing concepts from Marie Kondo's Spark Joy approach, and give you practical tools to create a space that supports your healing journey. So, by the end of this episode, you'll understand why clearing your space before spiritual or healing or creative work isn't just nice, it's necessary. Welcome to Adjusting. Welcome to Adjusting, a safe space for candid conversations about mental health and well being with your host, Justin G. Nelson. Whether you're recovering from trauma, redefining your purpose, managing mental health, or simply craving more authenticity, this show is for you. I hope something resonates with you and helps you on your own personal journey. So sit back, relax, and let's start adjusting. And we're back with another episode of Adjusting Podcast with your host, Justin G. Nelson. I got a hat. I got this hat made because I'm speaking on the panel this week, and I just wanted some merch. I just wanted to merch myself because they have a block party that Saturday. So yeah, I got a hat. It's not on sale. It's not for sale yet. It's just a mock-up, just so I can spark conversation. Okay. I haven't gotten to the world of merchandise yet, but soon come. Soon come. If you think I need it, let me know. But hi, welcome back to Adjusting with me, Justin G. Nelson, and I'm excited about today's episode. It really speaks to my inner child, and I hope it resonates with you. But before we get to all that, I want to say thank you to TJ with TJ podcast for editing and keeping me sane and keeping me updated with everything in the world of podcasts. This process has taught me to trust people and to trust that, your team will keep you updated in how to grow. So thank you for everything. If you all are interested in other things that I do, you can follow and support me with my other pages. I have a vegan lifestyle brand, which is called Earthy and Cultured. Fun things happening there. And then Type J Marketing, which is my branding and marketing page. Huge shift happening there. My performance journey to Broadway and TV and film. I start coaching today. So by the time you listen to this episode, I probably would have finished coaching or gone to coaching. But I have a vocal coach now, thank God. So that's at Justin G. Nelson, and my men's fashion page, which is The Detailed Gentleman. Make sure you are following on Substack. I have two Substack pages now. One is all things Pacific Cup, so my studio. And then there's just one for adjusting with adjusted perspectives. I have some new books over there that I gathered from a few lists I've been seeing on social media. So those are the housekeeping things. Follow TJ, follow my pages, follow Substack, subscribe everywhere. I don't if you pause this episode and go through all the links in the bio section description down there, just like everything. Like, follow, share, all of that. Okay, great. All right. So I want to now invite you to take a sacred breath. If you are new here, hello. We just ground ourselves with a 4-7-8 breathing. This is just to relax our nervous system and just to ground our feet, our heart, and our mind into today's conversation. Okay. So if you're driving, focus on that. That's more important. This podcast will be here, and we want you here as well to listen to it. If you are home or in a space where you can just give yourself 1 minute to really center yourself and kind of reset things, I invite you to do so now by planting your feet flat on the ground. Relax your ankles, relax your calf muscles and your knees, relax your thighs, your hips, your stomach, your heart, your shoulders, your chin, your cheeks, your forehead. Close your eyes. And we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and let out on us for 8. Begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let that out, shake it out, let out anything that's still you're still holding in from that last breath. One more time. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. All right. So let's set the stage. It was a dark night in October. I'm joking. But I love cleaning. It's like weird, right? But no, it's that thing that I feel is one way that we reset our nervous system in a physical setting. When we go for the black people, there's this cultural thing that when your parents turn on old school music on a Saturday, you know it's cleaning. Or if they super saved and you hear some Yolanda Adams, the battle is not yours, it's the Lord, you know it's time to clean the house, okay? And that cleaning becomes this spiritual thing to where we know we finna smell some bleach, some Pine Sol, some Lysol, some Fabuloso, and everything else. But that house is going to be clean. The laundry is going to be washed. The dishes will be washed, okay? You may even wash them by hand and still put them in the dishwasher because black people don't trust the dishwasher. The vacuum will be ran everywhere. And if you live in an older house, everything will be dusted. Okay, you will smell lemon and you will smell dust, but it will be clean. Now, when you do that, you are now resetting this space in your home for a place where you can just relax and unwind. And that is what we have to do sometimes in our mental health, in our personal life, in our finances. We have to do a hard reset. We have to do a deep clean. This is the only time I would say deep clean and actually resonate with it because some people found out about the term deep cleaning and they say they do it all the time. I have to deep clean my house. If you deep cleaning your house every weekend, something wrong. Something wrong. But something you might not have considered is that your environment is constantly communicating with your nervous system. So if you are someone who thrives in clutter, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. You are more than likely someone holding a lot of baggage that's probably not even yours. You got mental receipts as long as CVS taking up space in your life. You can declutter. You can clean your space. But think about it. You feel different in the library than you do in a crowded store. You feel different in your home when you come in, the dishes are in the sink and the couch is clear and everything just feels organized and in its place than when you come home and just like, I should have cleaned up before I left. Especially like when you leave for a trip. When you leave for a trip and you take the extra second to clean up and put everything away so that when you come home from the vacation, you're just like, perfect. Because you don't have that housekeeper coming to knock, 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 housekeeping and clean up. You got to come back to reality. But If you're working on mental health, doing therapy, or engaging with any kind of spiritual practice, your environment can either support or sabotage your efforts. It's hard to access calm, reflective states when your visual field is full of chaos and unfinished tasks. Your space can trigger stress responses or it can signal safety to your nervous system. So, today we're going to explore how to make your environment work for you instead of against you. Let's talk about it. So, number one, we're going to address and understand the space to mind connection. Start by acknowledging that feeling overwhelmed in your space isn't weakness. It's actually your brain doing exactly what it's designed to do. When we walk into a cluttered room, there's this thing called your visual cortex. It's processing hundreds of objects, and your brain is subconsciously making decisions for each one. So you walk in a room and you see a couch. Your brain is instantly, okay, the couch is gray, so I don't need to eat anything on it, or I don't need to spill anything. The couch is small, so I need to make sure I'm not like spreading or anything. The couch doesn't look comfy, so I don't know how my body's going to feel on it. The couch pillows are lacking fluff. Like your brain is just taking an assessment of everything in the space. Um, should I move this? Do I need this? Where does this belong? This creates what researchers call cognitive overload, and it's exhausting. We cause ourselves so much anxiety and stress when it comes to a junky house or a junky space. I don't want to say house. I live in an apartment, so a junky space. But think about the difference between walking into a spa versus walking into a storage unit. You know, when you walk into a spa, it's going to be ding, and it's just like I know my nervous system is like, yes, vacation, vacation, versus walking into a storage unit and you're just like, why do I have so much stuff? Like your brain instantly goes, why am I doing this to me? So we can look at now emotional hoarding versus practical accumulation. Okay, so there's a difference. There is a listen. There is a difference between having too much stuff and emotional hoarding. And it's important to understand where you fall in the spectrum without judgment. I say this for a lot of people. Some people get in the space where they collect, and nothing serves a purpose. It fills a space, but doesn't serve a purpose. So today I ask you, the things you're accumulating, is it serving a purpose or filling a void because again, safe space, because you are lacking the emotional bandwidth to make space for something real or something healthy? Practical accumulation happens. Life gets busy, things pile up. We buy duplicates because we can't find what we need, aka your spice cabinet, or a shirt, or some socks, or products in your bathroom because you couldn't find it because you weren't organized and you couldn't find this. And you're like, I know I bought something, let me just buy it again. It happens. We're human. But emotional hoarding is when you hold on to objects because letting go feels emotionally threatening. I have a few things. I know for one, I hold on to a lot of bills and paperwork. That is my downfall because I never know when Uncle Sam or Uncle Joe gonna be like, hey, you didn't pay that bill from 2017. Why are you keeping up with that? But I have it. But why? Why is that important? This might look like keeping every art project your child has ever made. Mama, if you listening to this, you can throw this stuff away. I forgot about it. You can throw it away. Holding on to clothes from former versions of yourself. Ebony, you listen to this. You're doing a great job, okay? Because I haven't gotten to that level. Ebony, my best friend, she has done like this huge purge in her closet. Huge purge. And I know she was mad when she did that thing. But now she's just like, I know everything I have in my closet. I know what I'm gonna wear with it, how many outfits I can make from it. I was like, yes. Me, no. No, y'all, I listen, if I want y'all to trust me, I gotta share some things. So This is no judgment. And if you're judging me, I'm going to find you. I still got clothes in my closet from when I first moved to New York. I've been in New York for 11 years. 11 years. Well, it'll be 11 years October. Y'all, I got clothes in, and then them clothes that I accumulated, they from undergrad. I graduated in 2011. And those are not capsule pieces. That's just me like refusing to let go of stuff. So I am making a commitment today to let go of some of that crap. Or back to the episode, we have some saving just in case things. My things are organized. Okay, and most of the times, 6 times out of 10, they come in handy. But sometimes trauma shows up in our relationships with possessions. If you've experienced loss or instability, holding on to these things feel like holding on to security. It took my mom, my brother, and I a couple of years to finally part ways with my dad's things. Once we did, we made space for more things, and all of us have healed from that part of the cleaning process. Now, I want to talk about my girl Marie Kondo. Now, I don't know where you at, sis. You were like an industry plant. You popped in. You talked about sparking joy and tidying up. You gave us 2 seasons, and you disappeared. And I need you to come back. Okay, I was doing the Marie Kondo method. I was folding with a little boop boop, and everything was tucked away. But then I realized I ain't like the fold. I still fold, but I ain't like what she was doing. Anyway, so Marie Kondo's approach, it gets interesting for mental health. So instead of organizing room by room, she suggests gathering all the things in one category, like all of your books or all of your clothes, and then dealing with them together. So picture this. I think my mom and I did this once. You get everything. I put everything on the bed. I make the bed up, and then I just dump everything on the bed. And then one by one, you take an item and you look at it, you assess it, and you thank the item. This in my head, in my mental health capacity brain section of it all, this is thanking the memories and the experiences within that article of clothes, thanking it for what it brought you. It may have been your power color, your favorite t-shirt when you were younger. When you were younger, not right now. When you were young, thank you for the experiences, the joy, the happiness, the fun we had. Bye-bye. And you let it go. I think that is just so beautiful. It just makes me feel good. It made me feel good doing it now. I'm gonna do that later. I'm gonna make a whole YouTube video just like thank you. Bye-bye. Great. But it isn't about efficiency. It reveals patterns in how we relate to our possessions. When you see all of your t-shirts or all 47 of your coffee mugs and you only use 3 of them, that's one thing I don't understand. People who collect coffee mugs. Now, unless there are the star, nope, I'm not justifying that. Why you need all 50 states of coffee mugs? Why? Why? Like I can see if they were all like they came with coffee from each state, but that would still be disgusting. But you don't need all them coffee mugs. Now I'm judging. But anyway, when you see all 50 coffee mugs together, you start to understand something about your decision making and attachment patterns. If that's a hobby one, that's one thing. But if you actively collect, anyway, and her spark joy question, like, does this spark joy? Does this person spark? You can't Marie Kondo people, y'all. Don't try to collect all your people in one room and say, like, you know what? It was fun while it lasted, but you don't spark joy. Don't do that. It only relates to tangible things. Yes, you can touch people, but don't do that. Don't call all your side pieces and be like, you're the weakest link. Goodbye. That is not what spark joy means. But her spark joy question is actually teaching emotional regulation, learning to tune into your body's response and trust your intuitive reactions. So, if you're new to therapy or healing work, you might not realize that your anxious feelings could be partly environmental. Sometimes what feels like internal anxiety is actually your nervous system responding to external chaos. And if you are sharing space with someone, if you are a victim of a roommate, I've been there. Clutter becomes about control and boundaries, which can create tension in relationships, y'all. I've told this story in season one, but if you're new and you're starting in season two, listen up. All right, so I lived a life. Okay, when I first moved to New York, I lived in a 4-bedroom apartment with 6 people. 5, 6, depending on the day. And imagine sharing a 4-bedroom apartment with 6 people with one refrigerator. Yeah. Or during the pandemic, on paper, I lived with 3 people. During the day, it was 4 of us. And that fourth person had a key. They were doing yoga in the common area. They were washing their hair in the common area. They were doing heels aerobics in the common area. They were whitening teeth in the common. Now imagine how that made me feel, because I ain't know what was going on. Like, man, you don't pay rent here. How are you taking up all the space? Now it did piss me off because my roommate, when I was gone, I had my door closed. You couldn't lock the door. It was no lock on it, and it was a hot summer day. They went in my room and took my AC unit out. Man, I was so mad. I was sitting here. I came back and I was just like, why is my AC? Oh, it was the former roommate, so she lets us use it. She ain't here. It's mine now. That's mine. Don't be going to my room. So anyway, space, roommates, been there. I don't want to do it again. Then my next roommate will be my partner. And we got to talk about some stuff, okay? Because I'm still triggered from having roommates. But now we're going to talk about adjusting, shifting your relationship with space. By the end of this episode, I want y'all to be inspired. I want y'all to feel like Niecy Nash from Clean House. Who want a clean house? She was my idol, okay? She was my idol. She had me organizing my mom and brother, my dad's closet at a tender age of 12. Everything in the house was color coded. The kitchen, the washroom, everything color coded. So the spark joy principle as emotional awareness. So let's talk about what spark joy actually means, because it's not whether something makes you happy in the moment. Marie Kondo, industry plant, describes it as holding an object and noticing your body's response. Does your energy lift or does it feel heavy? Selenite wand sparks joy. Yes. This towel, purposeful, joy, whatever. A bill, hell nah, this thing don't spark no joy. It brings stress. This is not a bill, but the bill is digital, so no joy. This is actually a form of somatic awareness, teaching you to tune into your body's wisdom. When you practice this consistently, you're building emotional intelligence and learning to trust your gut's reactions. You start to notice the difference between holding on to something you love versus holding on to something from fear, guilt, or obligation. The skill transfers from being organized, well, beyond being organized. You're literally practicing trusting yourself. You are able to let go of something like, you know what? I don't need to hold on to this. The bill is paid, or the memory was there. They serve their purpose. Unless you're scrapbooking, that's the only way I can justify it. Only way. Scrapbooking, you want to pass something down to the next generation, sure, but you got to have a generation to pass it down to. Great. Gratitude and letting go. Something we don't practice enough, especially in my community, the black people. We don't practice gratitude enough. We don't sit down and say, I am grateful for. We hold on to it and try to justify the gratitude in the fact that we still have it, and not had it and let it go and let the memory and the energy that it brought us live on through us. One of the most beautiful things in Marie Kondo's theory of spark and joy is how she suggests thanking an object before letting it go. I love that. I love that. This might sound silly, but it's some psychology there, okay? Gratitude helps us process emotional attachments without getting stuck in them. One more time. Gratitude helps us process emotional attachments without getting stuck in them. So instead of feeling guilty about that expensive jacket you never wore, now it's too big or too small, you can acknowledge it served a purpose. And this goes for hand me downs. Okay, I know your grandmama, granddaddy had a really nice Gucci something, but baby, the thing got holes in it. And you are never going to take it to get it reupholstered or fixed up, spruced up, cleaned. You know, you're not, just give it away. Give it away. Maybe it helped you feel confident when you bought it, or it represented hope for a different version of your life. But thanking it breaks the cycle, that shame cycle from waste or mistakes, and allows you to let go with peace rather than self criticism. Also, when you're shaping your space, okay, for emotional regulation and emotional maturity, physical boundaries in your space actually support emotional boundaries in your life. Clock it. When you designate specific areas for different activities, so for me, I have the corner of my apartment for creative work, or this whole room that I'm in is a creative space. That's what is on my Alexa. And I use that. My bedroom is my sacred space, so I don't have a TV in there. I only play like frequency music or things to help me ground because I treat that like my sanctuary. And I have to make sure it's clean. I have aromatherapy in there. We talk about that next week and things like that. But when you designate specific areas for different activities, you're teaching your nervous system what to expect in each space. This is a challenge because sometimes growing up, we tend to use the kitchen table for homework. But that in that cultural space is community. Like the growing up, the den or the kitchen primarily was a communal space. It was where people can come, you can gossip, you can talk about whatever, whoever in that space, and you knew what happens in this house stays in this house, and you knew not to repeat anything outside the kitchen. So kitchen be a good or bad place, because especially on soul food, child, kitchen was dangerous. Okay. Big Mama, your arm. This is especially important if you work from home or share space with others. Your brain needs to know where work ends and rest begins, where chaos is allowed and where calm is protected. If you're sharing space, this becomes about communication and compromise, not doing teeth whitening in the common area, but having conversations about what each person needs to feel peaceful and productive. Reframing your space as self care. So here's the mindset shift that comes and changes everything. Maintaining your space isn't about being a good person or meeting someone else's standards, it's about caring for your nervous system, period. When you shift from I need to clean this mess to I deserve an environment that supports my peace, whew, the energy around organizing completely changes. Yeah, I like I said, I love organizing. I will turn on some lo-fi music and like this clean space is about I'm about to create so much good stuff because I'm creating from a clean blank canvas. It goes back to that birth thing we talked about in that sexual awareness. You don't want to create in an environment that is cluttered, dirty, it got old stuff in it. You got bills piling up. You got, I ain't gonna say that. You got programs piling up. Because some people keep obituaries around, but it could be at the altar as a form of honoring your ancestors. But if that person or you got something else in the space is triggering and traumatized, put it in a box. Put it in a physical box. Put it in a box. Put it up on the couch. Lock it or burn it. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. I'm skipping around on my outline because I don't want this episode to be too long, but make sure you go to check out Adjusted Perspectives because yeah, there are some things. There are some important things I want to include, but and then the last part is applying. So practical steps for space transformation. So we're going back to Marie Kondo. She was the inspiration for this episode. The Marie Kondo method adapted for mental health. So if you want to try Marie Kondo's approach with mental health lens, start with clothes because they're usually the easiest category for practicing decision making without high emotional stakes. So as you hold a piece, you're not asking, do I wear this? What do I wear this with? Do I like it? No. How do you feel? Or how do I feel when I imagine myself in this? If it's ugly, be honest. Okay, because some stripes ain't always flattering. Or that one print that you can only wear with one thing, man, let it go. Let it go. If you're practicing tuning into your body and trusting your responses, books and papers are fascinating to tackle, especially books. These books behind me, I gotta declutter, because some of these books I guilty. I picked up a few of these books. So I was like, yeah, this book is so nice. I know it's gonna be a New York Times bestseller. So let me go. Man, I couldn't tell you the name of the book. I don't know who it's by. It's going bye-bye. They didn't want to put it right back outside in the library I got it from. But textbooks from your career you didn't pursue, articles from hobbies you never started, magazines, this now decoration. That was a trend. That was a trend. Ooh, guilty. I have a lot of GQ magazines, so it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna make this like really nice fashion thing. I'm gonna keep them though. I ain't letting go of them things because the covers are probably worth some money. But if you do any kind of spiritual or healing work, meditation, journaling, creative practice, therapy, homework, your space matters. When you create and foster an environment that supports a creative and spiritual healing process. But you don't want to journal in a cluttered space. You don't want to meditate in a pile of clothes. Like you need to create your space needs to feel like a sanctuary. And if you're if you are taking things to the altar to deal with, leave it there. This goes to the altar of your mental health. If you are cleaning space in your mind and you want to find peace, you can't take it back with you. So learn to clean up and remove so that you can make space for the healing and the peace and the love and the joy that you deserve and you desire. The word of God for the people of God. But creating a healing ready space doesn't require a whole room. Even clearing one shelf or one chair can create a visual cue that tells your nervous system, this is where I do the deep work. My couch, before I journal, is clean. Okay? My table, before I eat, is clean. One thing at a time, y'all. One thing at a time. So, some strategies for different living situation. Your approach needs to match your reality. If you live alone, you have the luxury of creating multiple functional zones, fun zones. So, a work area, a rest area, a creative zone, blah, blah, blah. Parents, if you're dealing with a constant influx of stuff, plus the changes in teaching your kids, healthy relationships, or finances and stuff, work with them, bring them into the process of creating this space. Let them know, like, hey, you want to do this, but we need to clean up. We need to create a routine with keeping things clean around the house. You keep this clean, make me happy, and if you make me happy, I can make you happy by giving you something you want, but you got to do your part. It's a process. Okay, we're all in this together. Great. Consider if you're sharing space, focus on creating one clearly defined personal zone while establishing agreements about common areas. And then throwing in this section, this is why it's like, make sure you check out Substack. I'm gonna keep plugging it. Check out Substack because I'm trying to keep this episode short. It could have been two, but I didn't want to do two. But there's some other things that I want to cover. But 5 ways Your clean space creates space for your future self. I always got to talk about your future self, okay? I'm building a doctoral thesis here, y'all, so work with me. Great. So your future self has clear decision-making capacity. When you clear your physical space, you're actually training your decision-making muscles in the present. Every time you practice Marie Kondo Spark Joy, you're learning to trust your intuitive responses. Your future self inherits this improved ability to make choices quickly and confidently. So instead of being paralyzed by options or second guessing yourself, you'll have practice tuning in to what really serves you. So this transfers to career choices, relationship, your partners, finances. Like you're able to make better decisions quicker because things are clearer. Right? We love that for your future self. Your future self has more mental energy for what matters. So right now, every pile of clutter, every bill that you've paid but you're still looking at, every piece of clothing that you have folded but not put away, every unfinished organized project, okay? I'll deal with this later. That stack is using mental energy because somewhere in your brain, you're like, wait, why is it still here? Or what have I not finished? Or what am I still working on? It's almost like decision fatigue. And your brain gets tired of making too many small decisions. But when you clear these visual interruptions, these piles and this clutter, you're freeing up cognitive resources for your future self. Great. So imagine walking into your workspace and immediately feeling focused instead of overwhelmed. Number 3, your future self has a foundation for new habits and practices. So clear space literally creates room for new activities and new rituals. Woo woo, great. When you designate specific areas for meditation, creative work, reflection, yada, 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 you're making these practices easier for your future self to maintain. Your brain loves environmental cues. A clear meditation corner signals this is where I do the inner work. Okay? It could be a clear bed, means this is where I can practice my sexual work. Just saying. Going back to sexual wellness. Your future self won't have to overcome the resistance of clearing space before creating a new practice. Number 4, your future self has better emotional regulation tools. Learning to let go of objects with gratitude teaches you how to release other things that no longer serve you. People, yeah, you know what? I appreciate that one conversation we had and the space you held for me. And I think that small amount of space you held for me was all I needed in that moment. Not saying I was using you, but I was appreciative of where you popped up in my journey. Thank you for your time. Bye bye. Your future self will be better at ending relationships, leaving jobs, or changing directions without getting stuck in guilt or attachment. The practice of creating boundaries in your physical space translates to better emotional and interpersonal boundaries. Boom. And the last one, your future self has space for unexpected opportunity. Now, as somebody with high function anxiety, I don't like surprises. But baby, when an opportunity pops up, like what I'm doing Thursday with Darkness Rising, okay, the panel discussion, I made space for it. I was open. I was ready to receive. When your space is clear and organized, you can respond to opportunities instead of being reactive to chaos. Your future self won't miss chances because they're buried under piles of stuff or distracted by environmental overwhelm. Clear space, listen. Clear space means you can pivot faster. If you're a dancer, you know what that means, okay? If you are trying to make a sharp turn, but you got 17 speed bumps ahead of you because of all the emotional you can't pivot ball change, baby. You got to move some stuff out the way. Okay, we need to be in that thing, right? So clear space means you can pivot quickly. Set up a workspace for a new project, host a friend who needs support, or simply have mental bandwidth to notice what's possible. You're creating flexibility and openness in your environment that allows your future self to grow in directions you can't even see yet. Take that. Okay, y'all, I think this might have been my favorite episode because I love the art of cleaning up. Now, there is a book. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. So there is a book, I think it's called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. It's a good book to recommend. Or if Marie Kondo's show is still around, I would highly recommend watching that. So your space is more than just where you live. It's where you heal. It's where you create and where you grow. Remember, this isn't about having a perfect Instagram-worthy content creation space, okay? It's about creating an environment that supports your nervous system, your mental health journey, and sets up your future self for success. So whether you're just starting mental health or starting therapy, or you're managing a creative project or raising a bunch of kids, or you got some roommates, I'm sorry. Small changes in your space can create big shifts in your environmental well-being. So start with one small area, trust your instincts about what serves you, and remember that maintaining your space is maintaining your mental health. So declutter that room, okay? Throw that stuff away. It's in a trash bag. Just take it outside. Drag it. Whatever you need to do. You're not just organizing for today. You're creating space for the person you're becoming. So next week, we're going to dive deeper into some things in your space. We're going to talk about your senses and how smell and touch, taste, all those things interact with your mental health. So until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of those piles. Take care of that clutter. Keep adjusting. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.